going to talk about the relationship between the extroversion trait and use of the English learning strategies. The author is Beverly, and I'm the presenter, Patty. My instructor is Dr. Teresa Shi. Here is the citation. This journal is published in 2012, and it is from Indian Journal of Science and Technology. The table of contents includes introduction, literature review, methodology, results and discussion, conclusion, and final one, critiques and suggestions.
Very good.
First, introduction. Recently, such strategies have been the focus of specific research, and much of the research was descriptive. And such studies show that in order to affect changes in perception of the learner's role in learning process, we need to discover more about what learners do to learn language successfully. Since 1990s, there has been growing interest on how personality correlates to the academic performance. And the purpose of this study aims to find out the relationship between extroversion trait and use of the English learning strategies for learners of English as a foreign language. Section 2, Literature Review. First, I would like to talk about what LLSS is. It stands for Language Learning Strategies. And language learning strategies have potential to be an extremely powerful learning tool. The use of language learning strategies help learners not only store and retrieve material, but also facilitate their learning. Since language learning strategies are not innate, but learnable, there are broad justifications have been offered for the evaluation of personality trait as the predictors of language learning strategies. According to Race, there was a significant correlation between successful language learning and the extroversion trait. As Ehrman at Oxford found out that extroverted students learn foreign language better because they like to interact with others. And another researcher also found that the extroversion trait had significant positive relationship with surface learning. However, 3 studies did not show any relationship between extroversion, introversion trait, and language learning proficiency. Another researcher also proved that there was no relationship between personality trait and language learning performance. So here's the research gap. The conclusions regarding the past study of extroversion and introversion vary from each other, and they are inconsistent. Section 3, Methodology. The participants in this study were 213 third-grade female English language learners from Iran. And there were 4 instruments, which are SILL, NEOFFI, TOEFL test, and background information. The researcher first chose the participant and conducted the pilot study, then analyzed the data, finally got the results. Here is an example of SILL, and SILL stands for Strategy Inventory for Language Learning. It adopted 5-point Likert scale from never true of me to always true of me. The example here. I think of relationship between what I already know and new things I learned in English. And TOEFL test includes 20 written expression items, 15 structure items, 15 word study items, 15 word recognition vocabulary items, 15 word production vocabulary items, 10 short context passage items, 10 reading comprehension items. And here is an example of structure items. When the conference, the answer is B. When did the doctor attend the conference? And unfortunately, the researcher did not provide the attachment of NEO questionnaire. But I found out that there are 5 dimensions in this study, which are openness, neuroticism, conscientiousness, agreeableness, and extroversion. And the author did not provide the background information either. And section 4, results and discussion. According to table 1, you can see that if the R value is between 0.1 to 0.29, it means the level of stress is low. And if the R value is between 0.3 to 0.49, it means it's medium. And if it's between 0.5 to 1, it means the level of stress is strong. The criterion was chosen to interpret and discuss about the strength of the correlation. And as table 2 shown, the means and the standard deviation. You can see the mean of the conscientiousness trait was more than each of the means of the other 4 traits.
The highest one?
The highest one.
Yeah, 34. So how many traits totally years you talking about in this study?
5.
5. So which are?
And the neuroticism trait is the lowest.
The second one is?
The second one is
No,
openness.
Just going down, keep going down, name the traits for everybody. I just ask you to read.
Extroversion.
Yes.
And openness to experience, agreeableness, and conscientiousness.
Okay, very good.
And table 3 shows the summary of correlation among the overall 6 categories of strategy use and extroversion trait. The student's strategy use was positively correlated with the extroversion trait for memory strategy, metacognitive strategy, and social strategies, which were all less than 0.05. And conclusion. There is a significant relationship between the extroversion trait and use of each of 3 of the 6 categories of English learning strategies, which are memory strategy, metacognitive strategy, and social strategy. And final part, critiques and suggestions. In this study, it is not clear whether the participants actively use the strategies they indicated or personality that they have. In order to investigate the students' actual use of strategies, researchers must observe classes, use think aloud, procedure, interview, and so forth. And the measurements which are developed in the Western countries may not be so successfully employed in the Eastern countries. And in order to make sure that the measurement developed by Western countries can be suitable for the Eastern countries, it will be better to run the pilot study beforehand. And thank you for listening.